Well, the Nebraska football team had their final spring practice here before Saturday's red-white spring game on a Wednesday. Hi, Sean Callahan for HuskerOnline.com, and we learned a number of things from head coach Scott Frost, but first and foremost, he addressed how he plans to utilize and play guys in Saturday's game.
Yeah, we're going to play football. We're not going to have the entire team up and going. There's some guys that it's going to be released today that are probably going to be held out for a variety of reasons, mostly just little injuries. But we want a chance to have an opportunity to compete. So we're going to divide up the team and put a bunch of guys that are only going to play part of the game on one side with their backups and the rest of the team on the other side and let it go. So looking forward to seeing guys compete in a game situation.
And I think most importantly, Frost wanted to reiterate that they want to make this as close to a normal game as possible.
Well, like I said, I think people are going away from spring game format in large part because the coach's biggest priority coming out of that game is keeping everybody healthy. You don't want to see anybody go down in a spring game when it's live, friendly fire, and you're going live against yourself. That being said, nobody else sells out their stadium, or very few sell out their stadium, so we can't go out and not play a game. 87,000 Nebraskans are going to show up to watch us play, and we owe it to them to play a football game. So I don't think we'll ever go down that road because of the support we get and the unbelievable amount of fans that show up at our spring game.
And as a coach, as a player, I don't care who you are, coming in the stadium in front of over 90,000 fans for a spring game is going to get you excited.
Yeah, our fans are the best in the country, and I don't know if it's close. Sure, other people feel that way too, but when you talk about a fan base that sells out the stadium here in 24 and 48 hours for a spring game, that's hard to match. I know there's other teams around the country with a few hundred people at their spring games, and we're going to have a full house. So it's a great opportunity for us to showcase the type of support we have here and get our recruits a chance to see the stadium and how it looks on a Saturday in the fall. So that's hard to replicate. Not very many places are like that, and we're happy that we have the type of support we do.
We learned a number of other things here on Wednesday from head coach Scott Frost. He addressed the situation with running back Maurice Washington, who awaits a court hearing in California on Wednesday afternoon.
No, Maurice isn't going to participate in the spring game. Yeah, I've been coaching the team, so this isn't news to us. We knew this whole process has to play out, and like I said before, we're going to wait until everything happens to make any other lasting decisions from our end.
Frost also confirmed the news that linebacker Nick Henrich suffered a torn labrum shoulder injury. It's going to require some surgery and be out for some time.
Yeah, Nick got banged up a little bit. I think he's going to require a surgery. Should be back about the time the season starts, so it depends on his recovery when we'll be able to get him up and going again.
The good news, though, with this is Nebraska does have some flexibility with the 4-game redshirt rule.
Once again, I think that rule is really beneficial to not only student athletes but coaches as well, that 4-game redshirt rule.
And even without Henrich, Rude likes how some of his guys have really raised their game at that linebacker position.
I think Mo's had a really good spring. He's progressed a lot from year 1 to year 2, detailing up his work. I thought Joe Johnson's really progressed a lot year 1 to year 2. Colin, just getting the reps he's getting, same thing. Really big progressions year 1 to year 2. So normally in football, year 1 to year 2 is the biggest jump, whether it's high school, college, or the NFL. So we expect the same thing from our defense too.
As for the defensive line, first-year coach Tony Tuioti had a number of his former coaches from Cal here in Lincoln. They were watching practice from the offensive side, learning from Scott Frost and what they do on offense. But Tuioti has gotten to know and learn more about his guys over these 14 practices and gave an update of kind of where things stand.
Khalil and Carlos Davis is playing really, really good. They've been playing at a high level. Darian Daniels is playing at a very high level. I think there's about 6 guys that we have up front that I'm really, really impressed with. DeAndre Thomas has done really, really well. He's finished the last 5 practices at a high level. I felt like, the top 5 guys were at a different tier, and I think DeAndre's really worked himself to try to make sure he's in that tier, so I feel really good about the 6 guys that we have right now.
And from a defensive standpoint, I think Nebraska's made some big gains because they're seeing a quarterback like Adrian Martinez every day in practice, and a number of the coaches talked about that on Wednesday.
Adrian Martinez is an exceptional football player, and you know, as a defensive coach, a lot of times in practice, especially when the head coach is an offensive guy, you think you got a sack and you're like, oh, blow the whistle, because you're not supposed to touch the quarterback. With that guy back there, a lot of times the kids are like, there's a sack. I'm like, no, it wasn't, boys. He got out of there and he's still running. So I think he's an exceptional football player. He's an exceptional leader. He makes our team better, not just the offense. I think he's as good as I've been around.
You know, he honestly is just taking how he finished the season and probably picked up on it. You know, it sounds, you know, it's what is expected of him, but he's a really special player, and I kind of expect him to do really good things, and he's continued to progress to where he left off, I think.
I think he got a little faster. You know, I called him slow last year. He got caught one of the games, and I stayed on him about his speed. I was like, you got to get faster because we know he's versatile. He can, we know he can pass the ball, but once it's time to get out, we don't need him getting caught. We need a touchdown every time.
We should get an idea of the rosters for the game, but most of the frontline starting players are all going to be on one team, and then those guys will see limited action here on Saturday as Nebraska tries to make this as much of a game as possible. With the Huskers in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com.